Hello, everybody, and welcome to podcast number 25. First of all, big thanks for the support you have given to the podcast in October. Was the most successful month for the podcast so far, which makes me happy because it means my work is good and is improving, and you like the work and you like the interviews. So thank you very much. Thank you to all around the world, because I've seen you've listened to podcasts from basically everywhere on the globe, so it's so cool. And if you're from somewhere far away, like, I don't know, America or Asia or Africa or New Zealand, Australia, drop a message in our social media platforms, which are Instagram at TCI Podcast, and the Facebook page, The Creative Insider, and the LinkedIn page also, The Creative Insider. It would be cool to know who is listening, who you are, and yeah, thank you. I want to, before I introduce the guest of today, I want to say sorry because I've just started putting together all the audio files, and we recorded on Skype. So I guess my Skype didn't get my good microphone, but get my laptop microphone. So my audio is not that great, but the conversation is very interesting, and I suggested to listen it because my guest was Samuel from Level Archviz, and we talked about Archviz and about they having their first client as OMA, and yeah, it was super interesting, and enjoy the conversation. Yeah, thank you, and keep supporting.
The whole world stops just like that.
Hi, I'm fine.
I'm doing well. I was a little late for the podcast. Sorry, that's such a shame on my side. But I'm very busy with work this week, and I rode my bicycle as quick as possible to come on time. And so as I told you in our little chat before the podcast, you're the third Samuel on the podcast.
Yeah.
We can have the section Samuel now.
Yeah, I never met someone who has the same name of mine, so it's kind of strange for me.
Well, yeah, I know. I don't know that many Samuels, but apparently on the podcast there are some. So you can introduce a little bit yourself, actually, for the people who don't know you.
Okay, I am Samuel Silva. I am a co-founder of Level Archviz with Stefano Mombelli, which is my partner. We are in Milan, so in Italy, and we work in this sector since I think 5-6 years now. And everything started 5 years ago after our graduation in architecture. I'm an architect, as most of the people who do this job. I mean, but
this will be a little bit a podcast also very much about Archviz, because there are a lot of people from the Archviz that are coming on the podcast. But it's interesting.
It's very common because in our job, in an architect job, visualization, visualize the project is kind of important. Also in the career of the university, and that's something that is always interesting.
I think that the Archviz community is way more friendly than the architectural community, because you guys, every time somebody from the industry comes on the podcast, then everybody are cheering and listening to the podcast, and I think in the architectural world it's more like competitive, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of changed this mood in those years, because initially it was not so friendly, this sector, Archviz, I mean. But nowadays, everything is changing. We try to know each other. We want to know each other, just to seek to share problems, difficulties, share knowledge, which is important. And we met a lot of other companies here in Italy in those years, which we never know about them. With some events like the D2, or in Italy there is the DDD, which in those I think 3 years we are attending to them just as a guest, or just to know more people that we can. And it's kind of changing this sector nowadays. We are sharing more knowledge, trying to know each other, which is cool now. And
are you kind of allied altogether against China? Because I know from a word of mouth that there are, and myself on LinkedIn, there are so many people who add me, and then they send me like I don't know if they're Chinese, but Asian people mainly, but I guess Chinese because when I see their location, they're like somewhere in China, and they send me directly like portfolio, and because they see I'm an architect, no? So they are like, oh, you want images? We do these images, we do everything for so much. And I think it's so annoying for me too, because
because also the technologies and the software are becoming more friendly nowadays. So most of the people, they are looking at this job like something easy to do, but it's not like that, of course. But because there are a lot of complexity in this job, and if you have some skills and you know how those kind of program works, you can do some render, but work with a client is completely different. So we receive a lot of them for those kind of portfolio also from India or Asia, China, of people who are suggesting them like freelancers to give them some work to do with the cheap prices, of course.
Yeah, but one thing is that the taste also it's very different. It's like the taste of images for the different markets in different countries. It's very, very different. And for example, I have friends, because as I told you in the beginning of our pre-podcast, I'm originally from Bulgaria, and Bulgaria is a big hub for Archviz, also because V-Ray is Bulgarian. And there are a lot of companies, they work with Dubai, and let's say the mood in the images is totally different as an image you do for, I don't know, Scandinavia or North of Europe, where the images are more clean, and in Dubai it's everything so it's like Instagram filter. So it's very
everything is shine gold or something like that. Yeah, it's true.
And even the people in the visualization are so fancy.
Yeah, also for us, we had this client which was from Malaysia. And they have the kind of taste like the China one, which they want the images a lot of saturated image. The green was so green, so it's kind of hard to work with those clients because you are usually work with your styles, and you have to change your mindset to focus. To try to understand what they want, but don't decline what is your style. You have to.
Yeah, of course.
Leave your brand, on your image. So it's completely hard to work with those people because our kind of clients is most Europe one. So
yeah, of course.
It's the mindset you work with those people. So also in Dubai, we have some work over also there. it's a completely different approach. I mean,
But surprisingly, I've experienced that, for example, the UK, which is Europe, have a similar pace as Dubai. That's to me very weird. But let's start a little bit from the beginning. So now we have a little bit an overview of what you do, but I'm curious to know how everything started. So, in which point of your life you wanted to become creative, and how did you get in touch with architecture for the first time in your life? Why you took this decision?
this decision. I mean, I don't have a point of my life which I really know what I wanted to do, because after the secondary school, I have I want to do something which leave me more, give me the possibility to be more creative as possible. I mean, and so architecture for me was that road. But after a few years and the university period, it was okay. I mean, I was creative and everything. I kind of do what I want in the projects and everything. But when you started to work in some companies, architecture, you know that it's not like that. I mean, you can't really be yourself in your design, because you have to follow someone design. I mean, which is your boss or something like this, and that's something which bothered me always in my life. I usually didn't want someone to tell me what to do. So after a few years, well, I mean, during the university, I always want to do 3D. Is something that I was passionate about it. So I'm kind of, I didn't. I learned from myself, just digging in the web, trying Studio Max and plugins, V-Ray for myself. I didn't attend courses or something like that. I learned from myself. So science is something that I really wanted to understand, render and visualization. I can understand that also if I really wanted to visualize something, and I prefer do that than design project or be in CAD, AutoCAD or something like that. That's maybe, I think, I bet that's maybe my road, my my destiny. I don't know, destiny is too much, but
Yeah, like your way out of this life where somebody's telling you what to do.
Yeah, exactly. I prefer to do that than do other things. So after graduation, I met Stefano, which is my partner, my colleague, and with him we face the same problem. Every day we talk. After the graduation, when we work, I work in Milan for another architectural company, and he went to Parma, another city, and we usually talk.
Sorry, I missed that part. Where did you meet your partner? Where did you meet your partner? I missed that part of the.
I met my partner in my first work after the graduation.
So he was a colleague at the office.
Yeah, okay. He was a colleague at the office in Cremona, which is a small town close to Milan. But it was a small company, architectural company. We were something like 4 people. And then that's where we share our knowledge quickly, because with our 3D knowledge, And after that, we moved to a separate city, and then we decided to build Level after 1 year, I think, after that experience. And then we create Level.
Why is called Level?
Why level?
Yeah, I was curious about it. It looks the logo. I was trying to understand if there is a hidden meaning. There are like three mountains, but
That's a meaning, but it's a kind of stupid meaning because my colleague Stefano, he usually work most in Photoshop. I mean, instead of me, I prefer work in 3D. He working more in post production, Photoshop, those kind of thing, And so in Photoshop, you have the layers of when you work on your file, you have some layers, no?
Yeah, of course.
In Italy, you say livelli.
Ah, okay, and then it's level.
Yeah, he didn't know because he had the Photoshop in Italian version. He didn't know that the translation of livelli is layer, is not level. So he kind of get out with this name level, which we kind of like it. And then we decided to leave that as the name of the company because we have we laugh about him about these things because
I guess he was the one that answered to me on Instagram when I contacted you the first time, and the first thing when I mentioned podcast in English, he was like, "Yeah, Samuel's gonna do that."
Yeah, exactly. That's why it was 5-6 years ago, and he still has some problem with the English. I think it will be always like that, and so the triangles is something like that. We fall in love with the shape, so it was a free triangle move separately, and on different layers or different levels. I mean.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's cool. I think that it's. I've. I mean, the name is not that important, but it was curious and it's catchy, so it's cool.
Yeah, we kind of like it, the name and the logo, but the meaning beside it is so stupid. Sometimes we laugh about it because it's so stupid, the meaning. But okay, that's the story behind the level.
And how did you start, guys? Did you start directly quitting your jobs and I don't know? Did you have already an office in the beginning, or did you start this?
At the beginning, everything starts so suddenly because I was working in an architectural company, and he moved from Parma, the other city, to come to Milan. So he was, he didn't have a job because he decided to quit his job. I was, kind of thinking about it to live into or not. So we started to do some kind of personal work, just to have fun and try to work together in some way. And but that suddenly really just a month or two after he came to Milan, we received a call for a project of OMA. OMA in Italian, and which was Fondazione Prada in Milan, and we were so happy about it. So we decided to work on that, and after that, they came other jobs. So,
but you got it as a visualization office level, or
we work at OMA at the beginning.
So that was your first. You started with OMA.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy, but how did you manage to do that? How did they know you, and what kind of portfolio did you have back then?
No, it was crazy because we create just a few images, which is one is the homepage, our homepage, which is still that image, and just a few other images. But we arrived to OMA because we worked for a guy that worked in OMA. So OMA asked to this guy if he knows someone who can do some render, some cool renders for this project, and he suggests ourselves. But we worked with this guy just 1 month before that, so just it was crazy for us. But he decided to OMA decided to work with us, and that's it. So we did it, and was so scared about it the first time, because we didn't was prepared. We wasn't prepared. I mean, our computer was not so powerful, so that we didn't have cores or nothing, farm. So we work at night for that, and we did something like 20 images in 1 month, I think. So I quit my job to do that, because I think, okay, that's some it's a sign. I mean, I was waiting for something, and this is my sign. This is something that I have to do, because this is what I want to do, and I will never have some opportunity like this to start my career. So I did. I said, okay, I'll leave my job. I quit my job and moved to my friends at Stefano. We work in this house and we kind of lived together for a few days to complete the images. And I remember that we had some deadlines, some milestone to give some previews to them. And the day before, there was a crash in our houses. There was no powerful. The computer was. We have no electricity in house, so was kind of scared and.
I guess it's very stressful and scary to start with this client.
It was very, very stressful, but at the end it was happy about it, and that's we kind of successful
completed
the images. So they were happy. We was happy. So that's why. After that we decided to focus on our activities fully.
I'm curious. Just before you move on the next step, because you mentioned your first technology. The whole podcast is also about to help other people to understand how you started, so they can have an idea about how to start themselves. You said you didn't do any course, you just learned on yourself 3ds Max, right?
Yeah.
And then what kind of computer was this? Roughly, what kind of hardware did you have for the beginning?
I'm not so expert about it. I know something about computer and how are the components, the parts of the PC, but I'm not so. We usually give this part to other guys because I really don't know how to suggest them.
But in the beginning, you had a regular computer, nothing very special.
But I have a friend of mine, a friend of me on Stefano, which give us some suggestion, which component buy and how to assemble a computer.
Okay, but what I mean is for this first project which you did for OMA, back then you had nothing so special.
No, I was already had some computer that I buy for myself just to have some machine to work.
Okay. And what was roughly the investment for this first computer?
Not so much, something like €1,000, maybe less. No,
Okay. So you started really, but
yes.
it was not a laptop. It was a regular computer.
No, it's a regular PC. Yeah. I didn't invest so much money at the beginning. Of course, because I didn't know if that was my future or not. So I start to with a little investment and just did. I didn't expect to OMA call me, of course.
Yeah. Well, that's probably unexpected for a lot of people. And when you completed these first images, was the income enough to start like the office more
Yeah,
seriously?
yeah. If I go back in time, maybe I will ask more money because we didn't ask a lot for the stressful time that we had. But it was enough to thinking about doing, a company, a brand, find some clients, buy a new computer, as those kind of things. So it was a good start for us.
Of
We
course.
but the truth is that when we started, we was uh, uh, a little bit crazy. I mean, because we didn't think about too much about it. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah,
we were,
you just start without thinking.
it's just we start.
How old were you back then?
Huh?
When you
What?
started, how old were you?
Was 24, 25, I think. Yeah.
Okay, that's why you were crazy.
Maybe more, 26, 27, I think. Yeah, I don't remember. It was in 2013. Yeah. Mm.
And
And
from there, did that help you to find new clients? The fact that you had worked with OMA?
what?
I say for the with this project you did for OMA, was that a good commercial? Was that like something that helped you to have
Yeah.
new clients?
Yes, because if you said that I work with OMA, okay, that was a kind of a good presentation for you. But we uh, we kind of also nowadays we don't do too much market. We have I don't know, we are stupid maybe because we in this nowadays is something that you have to market, uh, contact new companies, architects to show your jobs and maybe work with them or something like that. We kind of, also, especially at the beginning, we didn't do a lot of marketing. Everything comes by themselves. I don't know how. We really was lucky at the beginning. Because we started with just a web page, a Facebook page, Instagram, and that's it. Really, I'm not joking. So there was other people, companies which contact us. I mean, do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the word of mouth. Like people were talking about you, and there were new clients coming.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't use this part of OMA just to show ourselves how, you know, uh,
Yeah,
this
just you didn't use that for marketing as good as you could have.
was stupid. We didn't know how to work with this word.
And in the end, how different is now Fondazione Prada than your images? Is it pretty much the same?
They're pretty the same. Yeah, so it's kind of the same. We at the first time when we go there, because we went together just to see, it's a pretty shocking seeing something that you did on your when you are young. You know what I mean? And then now being there and see, which is kind of similar what you've done. It's strange, you know. It's very strange, but it's a we did a lot of um, errors in in managing the files. I mean, we didn't know how to manage a big file like this area that for us was huge at that time. So we have a lot of polygons, a lot of models in the same file, so a lot of crashes. So every time that we go there, we think about the floor, which is made of cobblestone. I mean, and we did a model with a lot of cobblestone with solid polygons, which one was the software was full of this.
Oh, I mean, I guess of course every it's surprising that you started so quickly and so without any experience, because for example I remember I started my first job now 5 years ago here in Germany as an architect. And when you start in a company, which I started here in Frankfurt, that's considered a medium big company, because it's not. There were 40 people working, and with some big projects, so of course. And it was crazy because I learned so much about exactly these things. How to organize. Everything, not only your file, the whole structure of the folders, how to be quicker, and I was thinking, oh my god, I'm so stupid as a student, because you do everything as you know to do it.
Yeah, that's something that kind of, I didn't want to say regret, but I mean, if we had some time with some people in a company where we can learn how to do some how to manage the file, master plan, those kind of thing, maybe it will be easier and the first time. But during our life of level, we met a lot of people which we work together and we share our knowledge, and that's kind of cool, because most of the things that I know with the people we work together with us in the same place. We share our office with other companies of this sector, and I learn a lot from them, and they do the same from us. So it's kind of work with other people is always useful a lot for this job. So
yeah, and I guess now you have created your own workflow and system, and it's much better than the beginning.
Yeah.
Are you still just the two of you guys, or are there people like employees working with you too?
Yeah, we are two, which are the founder, and we have other two guys who work with us, and we share our office with another company which they do virtual reality also, and we work together. If we have some huge task, master plan very huge, we work together in totally, we are 6 people. I mean.
Okay, well, that's not that small for the Archviz industry. It's not a small office, and but your most iconic image that you can find all over Pinterest or everywhere is the one for Reale Mutua in Torino. I think I've seen this image everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
This is one of the first. Really, it's a very, very old image.
If you look for night rendering or renderings in Pinterest, I think you get one of that images, like the first one. So I don't think you have made such a bad job as a marketing, because also your Instagram account is pretty big. So do you work actively on that to try to get some clients?
I'm not a social guy, social media or something like that. It's my colleagues, which is Stefano, is the one who followed all those social ones. I know we are growing because we are posting some images now once in a time. And yes, he is the one who followed this part. I don't like social media. If you type my name, maybe you will find nothing about me or a few things.
Okay, you're
Because
one of those guys.
No, but I mean, I try to, post my images in some places, but I was boring. Stefano usually, laugh when I start when I started some personal work is because I start with maybe a good image, which he said, "Oh, it's cool. Yeah, you have to finish. It's very, very nice." Okay, but I usually leave that image and I never complete it because I kind of, I mean, in my kind of work, I prefer do personal just to know or learn something new. I mean, once that I learn something new, I prefer, okay, I learn it. Okay, done. Moves to next step. And I have a lot of personal ones, which maybe he completed for me, and then he posted. Or also in the jobs, when we have some work to do for some clients, I prefer to do the first time part. Talk with the clients, looking for the moods, suggest giving giving to him some previews with the moods, weather, if I have to do some rainy days or sunny days, looking for a camera angle which is cool, those kind of things. Then after the client decided which the composition is good, the mood is okay, I kind of lost the interest in this because for me it's challenging the first part. I mean, so after that I passed the work to other colleagues, which they finalize it. So that's my approach in this job. So is my approach also in everything. I mean, also I try to understand social media. I try. Then I understand. Okay, I'm not interested in it. Okay, so Stefano, if you want to do Instagram, it's your job. Okay, that's it. I mean,
I think a little bit. I'm a bit like you. For example, with the podcast, I wanted to learn how to put together an episode. And now that I found a way that works, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't need to. I need to deepen way more.
exactly.
So
I prefer go to something else, learn other things.
Yeah, I'm efficient too.
Exactly. So if you ask me for Instagram or those kind, I can't answer you.
Okay. But another question is, as you are now the co-owner of the company, you're four people basically, and sometimes six. Do you manage to work a lot on images actually, or you have to do also a lot of job, which part of your job it's a lot I don't know, business, clients or tax returns or or I don't know, managing some problems, something break, something to change, or how it looks like that.
But I didn't understand the question. Sorry, but
no, because when you have a company, you have so many side problems which are not related directly with images, for example.
I mean, yes, it's the different approach. I mean, when we first started, it was something that we had fun to do. We want to do this job because we had fun and we like it. After a few years, it becomes a job, and you have to think of yourself like an entrepreneur. I mean, not more just as a 3D artist or something like that, just something that you have fun in it, but you have some more responsibilities. And that's the worst. No, I mean, yes, the worst part in this job. For me, is the worst part. But it takes a lot of time, of course. Also, especially in Italy, because we have a lot of restriction, a lot of taxes, a lot of things that you have to do. Otherwise, you have to pay more taxes or more something like that. So it takes a lot of time. It's stressful, of course. I'm the one which is in charge of this part. Because after that I said to Stefano, we will follow the social media, and he said you have to follow this other part. Okay, so we split our jobs like this, and but I prefer also do the 3D artist part, because it's something that give me satisfaction in it. So.
And how is your relationship with your business partner? Because I guess, I don't know, is it always smooth, or are there sometimes where you have to discuss?
We never had some moment when we fight. We didn't have this moment, and since now, I think that we are completely honest with each other for this aspect. Like when you have a company, you have talk about responsibilities, money, of course, management of your colleagues, your freelances, and everything. So you have to be honest in everything. Also, if you have a problem, you have to talk with your partner, and that's something that we always done. Another aspect that is fully important is that you have to trust your partner. I completely trust him, and I think he do the same with me. But I know that maybe in the future there will be one moment where we will fight, maybe for I don't know, stupid reason, serious reason. But I know I know that we will manage also that part, because in our history we usually talk easily about our problems, also personal problems, if you want.
Okay, so it's kind of relationship that developed now.
Yeah, it's really important, this part, because we in our activities we know other companies, and we see the relation of the owner. So we saw other companies which fighting, and they had some fighting inside. So it's something that maybe will come for us, but for now it's okay. Okay.
Yeah, of course. And I was also thinking about, because you're in charge now a little bit of the business part.
Yeah.
And business is something that you never get taught in school or in university. And I asked also, you said you have listened to the podcast with Eric from Luxigon. I've asked that too. Have you read some books about business or something like that to have a better skills to, I don't know, communicate with your clients? Or
yeah, it's something that I usually said to myself. You have to learn also that aspect. Yes, I never I can't learn from my experience or more, but it is I know which is not the good way. Maybe if I study more of this part, because it's really important, I will do my job very or better than now. So for nowadays, I learn from my experience, and I learn just talking with other people's, and that's it. I mean,
as your partner, or I don't know, you or your partner told me on Instagram, you said abbraccio, which means like measuring it a little bit, like whatever it works.
Esatto, abbraccio, esatto.
Yeah,
That
that
I
was
don't
so
know.
fun when he told me that. When he said like, "How are we gonna do the interview? There's some structure, or we just do it?" It was
I don't.
very cool.
Yeah, I think it's. I can tell you. Yes, I read a lot of book, but it's not true.
No, I want you to tell me the
Yeah.
truth, and I want,
Yes.
it's called insider because I want to know the reality. I want to know how it exactly works. So if it works this way,
But
it means it
yeah,
works.
do you know Lucia Frascerra? Do you know
No,
her?
who is she?
She's a 3D artist, which is really, really good. Which she lives in London, but she's Italian. She's from Florence. I mean, she's famous in our sector. I mean, and we know her because we meet each other, and we are friends since a few years. And when she know us for the first time that we meet, she was so surprised about how we manage our job and how we still work and we still have a client, since we don't have a base, or we don't have I mean, we learn by ourselves, and that's it. She was so surprised, and she has so much fun every time that we tell her some stories or something crazy that we've done with our clients, or some errors. And because she worked for D-Box, for
Oh yeah, for
cities.
the biggest agency. Yeah.
She worked for those big companies, so she know how it has to be done, this job.
Yeah, but you can tell her, Lucia, you didn't start out of nowhere working for OMA.
She was so surprised because she told us that she always wanted to do something in Italy for at the beginning, for create a company, but she had this opportunity with the D-Box that they called her, and she took this opportunity and moved to London. But she started at the beginning, and she had some problem at the beginning, of course, because you have to start to make your own clients and everything. And for us, our first client was OMA. So she was so so surprised about it and everything. So
Yeah, I mean,
how was possible? How was it possible? It's kind of, I don't know. We didn't. I don't know. I really don't know. It's everything comes just like that, years after years, and after years after year, everything.
yeah, because also Eric, when we were talking, he told me that he felt they're kind of good when OMA called, and you were good in the beginning. Apparently, who knows?
Yeah.
In the how is the Italian scene with companies? Are there many companies around your area, or?
Yes. When we started, there was just a few companies, but nowadays they are growing other companies. And in Milan, for what I know, a few years ago, there was something like 3-4 companies, which are the biggest one. Now there are a lot of them, and yeah, it's okay because a lot of guys like us just and after the graduation they maybe know some skills of 3D, and they want to do work, of course, and they wanted to show themselves what they can do and everything. So they started like we started at the beginning. So it's okay. It's something that I know for sure that will happen. And nowadays, of course, all the companies architectural companies require someone who is in charge of 3D in this company and everything. So our figure is something that is more required. So now there are a lot of companies in Italy, of course, and also the come si dice? Vabbè, also the community of 3D artists is growing. A few years ago, there was no one in Instagram which share only Italian archivists or showed the archivists in general, which is nowadays there is Render It or Made in Italy. There are a lot of pages which are growing to show that also in Italy we have a community. So it's kind of cool this part because that means that our job is required. I mean,
yeah, of course. And now there is this. It's way bigger than ever, because I'm looking always for people to come on the podcast, and there are so many visualizers, and it's crazy. And I think through these conferences that are organized, the connections are much stronger, and it's way more developed than before. But now I think that after a few podcasts where we have been talking to people from the visualization world, or I talked also to a couple of people who do animation, for example, for commercials and movies, also using the same softwares. Can you tell me a little bit more about your process at the company, how you work? So in general, how you do an image, starting from the client requirements, and if you have some special tips and tricks you use in the different softwares, how does it work roughly?
Okay. First of all, I think that is not the softwares which is the most important part. I don't think it is the software, because you can easily do everything and with a good image, with the one which you are more confident. I mean.
But what, for example, what do you get? For example, the model directly from your client, or you get just a drawing and you need to?
Exactly. We prefer receive the model from our client, especially if there's a competition, because in the competition, of course, the time we usually don't have much time to do image for a competition. So especially we prefer that our clients fully manage the 3D part and the project, the design part, instead of give out to us the 3D model, because we prefer focused and give all our strength to the visualization part, to the choice of for the composition and the mooding setting. I mean, because it's something that for us is the most fun, of course, and the one that we want to do. I mean, so when we receive the 3D model, we usually give to the client some some previews, which are the more completely possible for us, because we don't do clay image as a preview. We prefer just go strictly to the point where we wanted to go, and we choose some camera angles which are stronger for us. Maybe if we decided that this camera angle is better in winter time, we prepare a setting of winter time before give the first preview to the client. I mean, because we think that if you want to convince the client and guiding them to what you think is better for the image, you have to show them that it's better. I mean, so we usually fully give more potential of more. We focus more people in the first part than the last one. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And but for example, receiving the models for, I guess every client makes their model in different softwares. Is that can you always use the model, or do you need to remodel it? How does that work?
No, for the project one, we prefer leave to them this part. For the surrounding area, like streets and everything, we take care of it, of course, because it's something that we can give more detail than what they can do.
What kind of format do they need to send you in with the 3D models that you can import and use for the image?
We can easily import a lot of models. It's okay, SketchUp, Rhino. We prefer also Revit, X.
Okay, so everything. And
it depends on the client. We don't have any preferences. I mean.
And how much of the images you do is 3D, and how much of it is post-production?
Nowadays, everything is for us, for our workflow. Everything is in 3D, which we prefer. Everything is in 3D. Just a few people which are in cut out, and we add them in post production. But in the sky and maybe this kind of thing. But everything is for us. Everything is we prefer do it in 3D.
And of course, I guess the magician of Photoshop is your partner.
Yeah, I prefer maybe it's better if I say I prefer to do it more. Also for him, because in post production, if you have a good 3D base image, is better because maybe you can add more details in post production, and you have some good proportion in the image just to improve that. If it was the opposite, in post-production you have to do a lot of work, and for us it's kind of problem because you have to in the previews that you give to the client, it's not a fully complete image. It's just a image, and you have to say to the client, maybe in post-production we can add this, maybe in post-production we will add people here, and that's it. And but your client your client can't easily understand where you are going. I mean, because that I know that my colleagues is good in post-production, but my clients sometimes don't know. So in the previews, the first previews, if some is not so complete in 3D, I think maybe he will we will be, not so convinced.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you do already some proposals in the first draft, let's say. And in Archviz, you talk a lot about the composition of the image, which is something that's, as you said, not really software related. It's some skill that you have to develop somehow. Do you have some? How did you learn how to make good compositions? Because I think this is more theoretical knowledge, or is it also practical? How do you see these things?
Yeah. Yes.
Have you read some books about? I don't know. Are there books about composition of an image, or have you followed some basic rules just in the beginning?
No, I just kind of. I follow a lot of blog Instagrams pages which are have some photo of project. And that's I kind of try to, when I see a good image, a good photo in on the website or on everything, I try to understand, analyze this image. It's something that I usually always do for myself, for passion. I try to understand why this image, I like its photo. So maybe I try to understand why the light is like that, or why the composition, because there are some rules like la regola dei terzi, che non so come si dice in inglese.
The thirds rule that you divide
exactly.
like the image in three.
Yeah, of course.
Let's say nine parts.
Yeah, of course there are those rules which I know, but I kind of try to learn from what I see more than reading or other things. So when I work with my clients, I try to.
You vai a braccio.
Exactly, so something like that.
It's always like you go with the flow. You see the feeling.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's true. I know that I know the rules. Of course, I know the rules of this. The one that you told me, I don't know the word in English. La regola dei terzi, but così come la spirale. Okay, I know.
Yeah, like the what is called Fibonacci proportion.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
I can repeat them in my images, of course, but most is kind of taste. When I create an image, it's something like I put some camera angles, and I try to follow the rules, of course, if I can. If I don't like it, I don't follow the rule. But it's something that happened in this moment. If I put the camera there, it's okay. I like it. I try it. I convince my client if it's okay. Otherwise, I try another angle, and that's it.
And do you have now some regular clients which are always coming back and back to you whenever they need an image?
Yeah, we have.
How is now with the COVID situation? Do you have the same amount of work, or is it gotten a little bit less?
For the COVID, you mean?
Yeah, because maybe some project failed or.
Okay. Yes, we had some problem in that the quarantine period. Of course, we lost some jobs. Of course, in that period, this year is kind of hard. Year it's a difficult year, of course, but on this month, I think something is changed because we are working nowadays. Of course, we had some issues in the first month. I think in April, March, those 2 months, which we lost a lot of jobs because we have our schedule on those months, but everything was postponed. But nowadays everything is moving forward. So I hope for the future that everything will continue to come, because our clients, I'm always in contact. I talk with them also in that period, just to know how they was, if everything is okay, if they feel they have also that problem that we had too. So we lost some jobs. So I think that they also lost their jobs. So we can keep in contact with them, just to know that we feel what they feeling, and be that and say to them that we are with them in this difficult period. So after a few months, of course they come back because they trust us. Maybe they like our job, and they give us also other jobs. So nowadays everything is going okay.
I see. And how have you been working during the lockdown? Did you work from home, everybody, or how did you do?
Yes, of course, everyone was in their home, and it was hard in that period because we was moving also our office, because we had an office here in Milan, of course, in another place different from now, and we had to move. So then after in that period, what we had to move, we have the quarantine period. So we was kind of scared because if we had some job, we didn't have a server to share, to work together, and it's a kind of problem if you don't have those instruments, because work with other people without a server is hard. So we try to manage, and we find another place after the first bounce in March, I think. We found a place in close to Bosco Verticale.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we are there now. We were lucky also there because we get in touch with a friend of us. They was looking for someone to share their office, so they contact us in this period where we was looking for some place, and then we keep in touch because we know them, of course, but we decided to work to go to share the same place, and now we are there. So during the quarantine, we moved our server there and work from the home using the VPN, which is a kind of remote to desktop, kind of something like this. You mean,
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. So working remote together with the same server, and we work easily.
So you manage kind of to.
We manage.
How was the period of time? Because I mean, I'm not in Italy anymore, but my parents are, and they live in Rome, and here in Germany we were following the news about Italy, and especially in Milan was pretty scary how the situation was. So how did you leave that part of the first wave, because now the second wave is coming, so we need to see what's going to happen. But do you have any, people that got COVID and stuff like that?
No, at that period, not really, but my father is a doctor, and he was working with older people, and I was scared for him, because initially at the first period they didn't have protection, and they were so exposed, and I call him every time, every day, and heard about your dad that is in difficult and is in this dangerous situation without protection every day, and heard him that he was so tired because he worked a lot every day, 20 hours a day maybe. It was hard. I wasn't scared for me,
Of course.
but I was scared for him, of course. So that was my
You were worried. Yeah, you were
yeah,
worried
I was
about.
really really worried for him, not for me. So I kind of leave that period a little bit hard.
Of course.
So I focus on the job. I try to work a lot in that period just to don't think about it. And everything was fine. It's fine now. It's okay. Of course, it was negative and everything. So everything was fine, but I was really really scared in that period.
And when we started your story, you said in the first project you had a lot of stress and you worked a lot for the first images. Do you still have a lot of times where you need to work really, really long hours and where maybe you stay for a night over? How does it look like now?
What? I didn't understand. So sorry.
Because you said in the beginning you had to work. It was very stressful for OMA when you started. You moved together with your partner to work on the project.
Okay.
And today, when you get a project, does it happen sometimes that, for example, you need to stay in the office very long, or work until very late?
Okay, we prefer don't do that. We kind of schedule to our clients our deadlines, so we try to organize all the job in just to don't do that anymore. Also, the weekend we prefer don't work at the weekend. If we have to work in the weekend, we ask for more money, of course, and also if we have to work on night, but they usually don't happen because we really prefer don't do that. But if we ask for more money and that's it. But so if you ask more money, the client usually said, "Okay, it's okay, as you said." So we prefer don't don't do this error like we did in the past. I mean, of course.
So
Nowadays,
what is the time that you need for? Of course, it's very different for between an image and depending on what is the image, but generally, roughly, how much time you need to make one image completely done?
It's not an aerial view, of course. If it's just a normal view, for two images, 1 week, maybe 1 week and a half. If it's difficult, if it's a hard image, or otherwise just two images in a week for one guy. I mean.
And what is the pricing? Let's say I'm an architect and want to go to level Archviz to get an image, or is it? How do you price the image? For example, if I order 3 images, are each image cheaper than just one? How does that work?
We try to. We don't have. We have a range of price, of course, but we didn't have just one price, which is always the same. It depends of the number of images. Of course, if you have more images, you can do a sort of discount or something like that.
Okay, and you do every week you have only one project, or are all the people working on the same project, or you can manage now to work on different projects at the same time?
It depends. It depends. Sometimes we have two projects that we have to work separately. Otherwise, we work together. It depends on the number of projects that we have to manage in that period.
And have you problems with the payment, or pretty much now you have an established group of clients?
We had some problems, of course, but I mean it's part of the job. We have some problem, not a lot of problem. I mean, in the payment, but we have some kind of experience that we learn from bad experience.
How do you work now? Do you get part of the money in the beginning and then the rest when you're done, or?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, well,
yeah,
that's a good strategy.
We ask for advance, which is okay, which is better, of course, and then at the end we have the final payment.
Okay, because I've heard also some people do like, for example, 1/3 of the money in the beginning, 1/3 in the middle, and the last third.
But if the project is huge, maybe they ask for more image, which is maybe a master plan with a few areas and others images which are from the eyesight. We stay a uomo. If it's like that, we split the payment in 3 parts: middle at the beginning, the middle at the end. If there are just a few images, 2, 3 images, it's just advance the payment at the end.
Well, that's a good strategy so that you can avoid like having problems with the payment.
Yeah, because the payment was always something that at the beginning we was kind of imbarazzati, come si dice? They were very low, were very not good at all. Yeah, it's hard at the beginning when you have to ask money. Maybe, hey, give me your money. At the beginning, if you don't have any experience, it's hard. But it's something that is so easily. You don't have to be scared to ask money. The money for you, the job that you have done, of course.
I understand. I was like that in the beginning when I started. I mean, I'm not a business owner, but everything now for me is like, if I work, I need money because I'm spending my time on this thing instead of doing something I would love. So it's very important to get paid for what you do, also because you have a life. You want to do your things too. You want to have a family. You want to have hopefully very soon travel again. So
yeah,
it's important. Yeah. And I'm gonna ask you like this question, which will be like, let's say, one of the final one, because I don't want to keep you too late in the evening on the phone. And take you actually away from your rest evening. Do you ever get some interns, maybe from the university, somebody that have some basic knowledge and want to learn more about Archviz? Have you had that experience already?
We had some requests from Samuel University to do that, but nowadays we didn't do that. But it's something that we want to. It's something that we want to do. We usually, you don't know. Maybe you don't know that we teach in a school. Do you know?
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't know? Okay. We teach also in a school which is in Vicenza, the north of Italy. Science 3 years nowadays, and over there we give them some lesson, and we take the laboratory part, which is the final part of the master, and it takes 2 weeks. And a few of these guys ask to work with us, and nowadays we have one of them which is working fully with us, and he started this after the quarantine to work with us, and it's kind of the thing that you're asking is kind of stage for him, and it's a new experience for us because he's someone who just is trying to understand what is new for this area. I mean, so we teach him, and then now we are seeing if what we teach is okay.
I see.
Yeah.
And
Experience.
what is the school name where you teach?
What?
What is this school? Where what is the name of the school where you teach?
He suddenly changed the name it was VFX. It was, but nowadays it's called Braveheart. Braveheart
Oh,
Academy.
Braveheart. I think I know one guy that did the class at VFX.
Which part? Because they take a lot of classes in different areas. Like
Well, I think it was about 3ds Max. I don't know, but
maybe I him. Maybe I was his teacher.
his name is Matteo Nicoletti.
Ah, yeah, of course. Yes, I know.
He's from the University of Rome, and he actually helped me with my thesis visualizations.
Yeah, of course. He was one of our students 2 years ago. I mean, I think.
Well, if you go on his profile, you can
He's now, where is he now? I think in Holland. No, where is he?
No, I think he's still in Rome. I'm not sure.
He's still in Rome. Ah, okay. That's that maybe he was working. No, I don't know. Maybe in some other place in Europe. Maybe I was misunderstanding with someone else but I don't know him. Of course, he came to visit us on December on January. I mean, also to visit our office. So we know very very well.
Very cool. So the world is very very small.
Very small.
But are you just teaching at this school, or is just and how these masters or these courses work? That's actually a very helpful information. So, if is first of all, is it
Yeah.
I guess it's in Italian.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, whatever. If there is an Italian audience, I mean, there is a big Italian audience of the podcast, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So, what are is there a website of the school where there are the prices of the courses?
There is. If you're looking for Braveheart or VFX, VIFX, if you're looking for VFX Vicenza, you will be in the new website. They will, of course, sending you to the new website, and it's a master which takes, I think, 1 month, and it's everyday lessons. In the first part, you learn how to manage 3D models and models in 3D Max, and then there is a part of lighting on photography, and of course material, shader, and that part. And the final one, there is a laboratory part. Laboratory, it's okay. Laboratory.
Yeah, it's a workshop.
Workshop, exactly. Workshop. The workshop, and where I go there with my colleague Stefano, and we do work with them for 2 weeks to complete their images, and they. At the beginning of the master, they decided one image, and at the end, they have to recreate this image in 3D. That's kind of the exercise that at the end they do. And we work with them and give them some lessons. And it's kind of cool because it's a small town and they live together, the guys. They are usually 10 or 15 guys. So they make a group and they have a lot of fun over there. And we met them and we kind of regret to our university period when we make,
I think that everybody in this field regrets their university time. And I mean, myself, when I came here as an Erasmus student in Germany, and the university here provide for us also a room where you can go every day, even during the night, because you have a magnetic card, and you can get into the. You don't know, we have spent so many days, nights, and in this room it's very cool because you have also a little kitchen, so you can. It's crazy. It was super fun. We were there always like 5-10 people during the night, and when it gets crazy, we start doing.
We follow them during the day, and maybe at the night we spend some time with them because it's a small town. If you don't have nothing to do in the place, so you finally go to the room with them. So you share with them then those moments, and maybe we go to bed. The day after, we find all the bottles that we drink during the night. Which are crazy because, but they had fun. It's okay because
now all
you have to do that also.
Now all the people that are listening to this won't subscribe for the class because of Archviz, but because of drinking. How much is the price of this master? You know that?
I don't know. I don't know for sure. But if you go to the website, everything is right over there. I don't know the prices nowadays because during this period it was hard during doing lessons because in the first period you can't do lessons. So we lost 2 courses, I think, on February and June, and now there is just this year we will do only this one, which will start on November, I think. But the price, I don't know. I really don't know.
Very cool. I think it's a very
experience. So also for
good experience.
Yeah, it's true that I teach them something new, but I also learn a lot from them. It's kind of strange to say these things, but it's true. It's true.
I actually have said that on the last podcast I've done. I had Laurie Rowan over. Actually, it was, I think, the podcast number 23. Anyway, he does animation, and he does animation also. He have done some commercials for Microsoft and for BBC because he's British. And he's recording currently to like a sort of a course, but you can get this over a website called Domestika. So you go on this website, and I don't know if you buy his class or stuff like this. And we were saying that actually there is online you can find, it's called the pyramid of learning. And actually you learn the most when you teach other people, because you learn the less when somebody teaches you, then you learn a little more when you try to use what you have learned to make something. Yeah. And then you learn the most when you know how to do something and you teach somebody else.
Exactly.
Because in your head, in your own mind, everything is so simple to do. But when you start to explain it to someone, those people will ask you questions, and you will need to explain better what your mind thinks.
Yeah, you have to fully understand what you are teaching. Maybe you never ask those questions to yourself when you do that. Maybe you do these things, this setting, but just because you know that it's okay. But if you have to teach, you have to learn how, why is it doing that. And that's you dig in, and you learn more about your job and about what you are teaching. That's true. And also sometimes they teach me some script new, some things new that they usually do unconsciously maybe, and I steal from them. Still is not a good job word, but I mean I steal from them some things maybe.
Of course.
And
still in a positive way.
Yeah, of course. And it's really fun, and we like it, and it's something that also that happened suddenly a few years ago. This academy contact us just because they saw our images on the website and asked us if we want to follow the workshop, and we said, "Oh, okay, why not?" That's it.
Very cool.
3 years ago.
That's awesome. I mean, in the end of our conversation, I can tell you that you were a little worried about your English, but your English is fine. So don't worry. Don't worry. In the future, you can manage a podcast of 1.5 hours in English. So it's been a pleasure talking to you. I've learned a lot myself tonight. If I ever come to, I hope soon, I want to come to Milano because I want to have an aperitivo.
Yeah, of course.
So I can come over the office and we go somewhere next to the Bosco Verticale if there is a nice place and have an aperitivo.
Yes, of course. You are invited, of course.
And of course, in the description of the podcast, I will put all the links to your Instagram page, even if you don't like social media. I'll put a link to the website of Level Archviz.
My colleagues, my partner will be very happy about it.
Well, I will be also happy if you could share the podcast on your account because it's nice to grow the community. Yeah. And thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. And
also for me, it's a good chat. So I will for sure suggest your podcast for other people. I will listen in also the other podcasts because I miss them also.
You can try some of them. Some of them are very funny and they're very interesting.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, man.
Thank you.
So thank you. And talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
The whole world stops just like that.